Will you file articles of impeachment against Barack Obama for the extrajudicial assassination of Abdulrahman al-Awlaki?
But I think it's going very, very well. I know the polling is bad. Donald Trump is running to the left of them on economics and to the left of them.
We've got a contentious Piers Morgan panel debate lined up to go through as the MAGA members hopelessly try to tell us why Trump sending us barreling towards a recession is a good thing and patriotic, and we'll see because he cares so much about the working class. So if you can muster it, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a bunch. We really appreciate it. And let's otherwise hop right in.
But I think it's going very, very well. I know the polling is bad. He started out with a large portion of the country who really, really dislikes him. He managed to convince a lot of independents and a lot of Democrats to give him a shot and to vote for him. But that doesn't mean that he convinced people to like him. He's a very polarizing person, just his personality. But I think when you look at the agenda, he has tailor-made this agenda for the new base of the GOP, which is the working class. And when you talk to working class Americans, which I do all the time, and I hear from hundreds, if not thousands of them on a regular basis, they love this. They feel like this is exactly what they voted for. The situation with China was unsustainable. It made the elites in this country very, very wealthy, which is why elites on the left and on the right are furious at him and why Wall Street is furious at him.
I just want to start by pointing out that there's never been a working class person in the history of ever who sat back and thought, man, if only we had better trade agreements with China, my life would be so much better. Like, let's be so for real. Also, I would love to know what part of this agenda is for the middle class, for the working class, the tariffs that lead to job loss and increased prices historically that are entirely borne on to the consumers, you know, the working class, cutting the Medicaid that the working class people pay into, massive tax cuts for the wealthy that lead to a drop in business investment being the prime factor that causes more jobs and wage growth. Or is it the cuts to the rental assistance program or the 9/11 survivors fund, the fund for firefighters and first responder? Is it the medical research for things like brain cancer or the transgender mice, right? Because we don't know what transgenic means. Is it the offering of U.S. troops, you know, our sons and daughters, soldiers, to go annex Gaza for Israel because Miriam Adelson donated you $100 million? I mean, which part is for the working class? Because I would love to know. Inquiring minds would love to know.
There has been no constitutional crisis. This congressman seems to think that having bad polling numbers is an impeachable offense, is somehow a high crime and misdemeanor. It is utterly laughable, and it's because the Democrats have no agenda. Donald Trump is running to the left of them on economics and to the left of them on fighting wars and being anti-war and trying to get us out of different things and trying to settle wars. And he is a social moderate. He's not even a conservative. There is not a single value that the Democrats hold that they are not willing to immediately abandon if Donald Trump starts to defend it. It was the Democrats who thought that we had to control the border to protect working class wages. And now all you see is Democrats out there demanding free trade and demanding more access to China. You see Democrats literally sharing Chinese propaganda because...
Okay, first off, I would love for MAGA to tell me what they think constitutes a high crime and misdemeanor for a president who quite literally, and they supported this, and it's because of Trump, quite literally can't be held criminally liable for actions that fall under the scope of the office. Like, they literally think, one, if you do something illegal, that you can't be prosecuted for it because, well, we have processes of impeachment. But then they also think, well, if you haven't committed a legitimate crime, then you can't be impeached. Like, this is such a juvenile understanding of the English language. It's frustrating. But one of the most prescient points of high crimes and misdemeanors and what is considered that is abuses of power. Now, the debate obviously is what constitutes an abuse of power that constitutes a high crime. I would say that continuously defying or ignoring the judiciary to the point you're defying a 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, you're continuously defying the Constitution to the point you're even saying, I don't know if I'll apply due process equally across everyone in this country, and then overstepping the powers of the executive to take power from the legislative. I would say each of those constitute a high crime.
Will you file articles of impeachment against Barack Obama for the extrajudicial assassination of Abdulrahman al-Awlaki?
I was not a member of Congress then. I am now. I have seen,
and we can convict him and put him in prison if you want to file those.
I have seen the unconstitutional, illegal activities of Donald Trump. And those are the ones that I am holding him responsible for.
Nobody cared when Obama murdered American citizens, especially a 16-year-old kid who is not a target.
Obama is
who has
not the
civilian
president
rights.
right now.
This is such a wildly annoying point that Tim Pool and other MAGA people keep making because like it hasn't been countered effectively by the people they're making it to. But I want to first say, why would they have to go back 14 years to bring up their favorite guy, Obama, to find something they think is comparable to what Trump is doing? Now, I do want to start by pointing out and giving credence to the fact that if Obama was impeached for this drone strike, I would be perfectly fine for it. I would have no issue with that. But it's also telling that we have to start with Republicans have said for years that that drone strike was the worst and most unconstitutional thing that Obama ever did. And it proves that Democrats don't value the Constitution and all of this and due process, which if they truly thought that, then they would have to think what Trump is doing is unconstitutional. There's literally no way you couldn't. So it's also self-defeating in that it shows, again, they're only holding the standard for Democrats. Now, context and nuance, the enemy of misinformation, often forgotten by conservatives. Obama, before doing this, went through every legal channel. He went as far to consult with the OLC, the DOJ, before acting specifically to make sure if it would be lawful for him to do this. The action was bipartisanly supported, negotiated, and decided on, and no Republican, because of this, ever brought articles of impeachment, nor was it ever seriously discussed to impeach him because they were all on board for this until it became a political talking point. Now, is it a gross overstepping of executive authority, in my opinion? Yes. Could he be impeached for it? Yes. Is it murder? No, probably not. Nor was it something Obama decided on a whim, nor was he defying the Constitution when he did it, nor was he going against the government when he did it. But MAGA could in no way, and this is the prescient point here, MAGA could in no way describe how what Obama did was unconstitutional without directly implementing Donald Trump's actions as also unconstitutional, but they'll defend what Trump does, but bring up what Obama did 14 years later. Let that resonate. But of course, Tim Pool, he doesn't care about that because he didn't bring this up as a comparison because MAGA never does whataboutisms as comparisons, which is where the utility in them is, hey, oh, you think this is bad? Well, here's this bad thing. Let's compare and see if they're the same or different. No, instead, you bring up the thing the Democrats did as a distraction in hopes that it also can make Trump look better.